Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the show. It's been a week since the last show, so nothing too crazy has happened, I don't think. We might as well just kick right off, I guess. Bit of context and background for everyone. Just going into the start of this show. We are, how do I put this? We are most likely going to have to use a substitute player for the major. This is relating to Holzerk's P1 visa, which is still in processing. His visa has been accepted, but he requires an additional some additional paperwork essentially that is held up, and we have no way of expediting this at all. We started his P1 visa process as soon as he signed his last contract extension, which was back at Dallas last year, so nearly a year ago. And then, the time it takes to do the application, get a response, and then he obviously has to go and do an interview at his local embassy. And that whole process was done as quick as possible. It got slightly held up due to our travel schedule. We had to attend a lot of events at the end of last year, and then we had to get our China visas done, which obviously meant his passport was in use at the time as well. So, yeah, we got him the earliest available interview opportunity, which was as soon as we got back from Shanghai, so early December. And since then, we've just been in this sort of limbo of just waiting for this thing to come through. And it's something we've been extremely open and honest about. We mentioned it as one of the reasons we didn't want to go to Frag and why we went to Melbourne. And it is what it is. His visa technically could come through any day. The embassy could say, "Hey, we're ready to print the visa and put it in his passport," and he could go there and get the visa any day. But as it stands right now, we are putting sort of every precaution in place to prepare that isn't the case. And I guess that leads us to who our sub is going to be for the upcoming event. And I have him with us here today. He's going to join us for a little while. He's a bit busy today, but he's agreed to join us for 5 to 10 minutes. So without any further ado, I've never done this before. I've never had a guest remotely on here before. So let's see what happens. I don't know if he's going to come straight in, but here he is. This guy.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, and
right,
they can hear you too.
Let's go.
Peyton Jr. Johnson, formerly of Complexity in 2022.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back.
What's up, Grant? Oh! Let me fix that bad boy.
Amazing. Pure calamity straight away.
Just not moving in my chair, I guess. All right, we're good. Yeah, we're good.
It's been a while.
All right, what's up, Graham?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has been. Well, I mean, we talk a lot, but
we talk a lot. Yeah, you obviously were one of the initial players we had when we started the Complexity North America project back up in 2022. Sadly, for reasons, you were also the first player to leave. But you've been grinding along there. You obviously went to EG and been with Nouns more recently. How have things been going for you?
Pretty good. I mean, I've just been grinding a lot, playing a lot of Counter-Strike, doing what I can for the love of the game. So this opportunity is huge for me, especially the NA major. Like it's a home major, like as home as it gets, right in Austin, Texas. So It's a really big opportunity.
Yeah, and obviously, you're used to playing with a lot of us guys. Obviously, You played with Johnny a lot.
With everybody, yep.
You played with everybody, yeah.
Everybody.
Especially Mike, right? You played with Mike on Triumph even so a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. A lot of pugs, a lot of everything.
Yeah.
And then we tried out Nick for like a couple of games.
We stole him from you.
You had to come and steal him.
Yeah, we stole your player from you. So you're going to join us for the major. You're basically, I guess we'll call it what it is. You're a stand-in for Holzerk. So you're on a temporary contract until the end of the major, basically. But your intention, obviously, after that, and to be honest, Peyton's playing for. You're called Nouns officially, I think, but now you're called Moneyball, right?
Yeah, for ECL, it's still Nouns because it's so long.
Yeah,
so can't really change the name. So yeah.
Yeah.
But any new tournaments coming up, it's just some
Moneyball.
team name.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you've got obviously got a few obligations left with X Nouns, Moneyball,
Yeah.
including ECL, which you're playing tonight, right? I think in a
Yes,
few
sir.
hours. Yeah. So
Yes,
that's
sir.
one of the reasons Peyton can't stick around for the whole show because he's got some preparation to do and some shit to get done today. But yeah, looking forward to having you with us. We're going to start up practice sometime this week, and I think in the next 2 or 3 days, depending on how your ECL goes and when we find time to get it all done. We couldn't start up last week because you guys were also playing in the Revival series, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Lost energy again. And the final.
Lost energy again. Okay, well, we're going to get you a win over energy at the major, so you can have that finally. Yeah, I'm looking forward to having you back, Peyton. I think your career progression has been positive since leaving us. I
Yeah.
think you're on your way back up again, and hopefully we can give you some exposure. We love paying people in exposure. Just to be clear, he is being paid real money for this as well. But any opportunity to sort of get your name out there and show yourself on the world stage, I think is valuable. So yeah, can't
Yeah.
wait to
Absolutely.
get going with you again. A bit of a theme that's going to be happening for today, but obviously Peyton, born and bred in the USA, Austin major, home major. We're sort of I don't want to say we're going to be Team USA because we have obviously have Johnny, but he's about as
Johnny's an A.
he's about as
Johnny.
American as they come now. Like South Africans are basically Americans as far as I'm concerned. Like they love barbecuing meats and they speak English. I mean that's about it.
Yep. And Johnny's in it. He's been here for way too long.
I think he's been here for like it's been at least 7 years, I think now.
Sure,
So
look, bravado.
I think it's been yeah. I don't know exactly when they moved though, but yeah, he's been there for at least 7 years, I think. I mean, technically now JT actually doesn't live in America. He lives in Poland. So
Oh yeah, that's true.
yeah, ironically, he's the guy that's got to travel in, which makes sense, I guess, because he's the foreigner. But yeah, we're gonna field 4 Americans. We're gonna have the most American players in the server at the major. I think that's pretty cool. Um, Looking forward to having you back. It's been a long time, and yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be good to have you around. You always light up the room, Peyton.
Thanks, Graham. That means a
Yeah.
lot. It's always nice having positive energy.
You
The,
don't,
the game's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be your job. It's supposed to be
exactly,
fun.
exactly. And you love the game of Counter Strike, right?
Absolutely.
Even if they nerfed the AWP heavily.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
just so sad.
But I've been looking, Peyton. I mean, stats on everything, right? But I've been looking, man. You've been putting up some numbers, even though the AWP sucks.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean, you just have to play with it differently. Like you can't really hold common angles. You gotta. It was like a learning curve. Like at the start of CS2, the op was completely irrelevant.
Yeah.
They slowly fixed it.
So this is your comeback, is it? This is the start of the comeback.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah. Zawu and Modesty are doing it with a rifle as well. So
Zahu especially. Anyway, Payne, I don't want to keep you for too long because I know you're busy. Do you have anything you want to say, like just to anyone? Just like I'm
uh,
back. Nothing.
I mean, it's just a nice opportunity to have. Yeah, I've been preparing myself like for a long time for an opportunity to arise something like this, especially after failing with nouns in the MRQ, where I thought we were pretty prepared for it. We just like didn't show up, and yeah, this is just like a nice opportunity to have to where I can like redeem myself.
Who did you play in the MRQ in the end?
We lost to NRG 13-11, 13-11, and then we lost to Marsborn
Oh
right
wow! So
after it.
you were actually really close.
Yep. So it was
Wow.
yep. Like if we it's crazy if we beat NRG, like it was just a completely different tournament, but
Was that
it
your
is what it is.
opening match, Energy?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because the seeding was really bad, right? We had the
Yep.
same problem. We had to play. Who did we play in our first game? We played like the hardest team of the
You played
game.
getting info, I
We played
think.
Getting Info, yeah, which I actually I tipped them maybe to be one of the teams that went through in the end. I think they were playing really well, sort of in the build up to that event. Yeah, I mean
They
that
lose
was
did they lose? Yeah, NRG. Yeah,
they
duh.
lost to Energy in the final playoff game, right?
Yeah. No, it was Blue Jays, I think, in the
Oh, it
final
was Blue
one.
Jays. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, God, I swear all these teams play each other so much, so
Absolutely.
often.
Yep.
Like everyone, I can't remember which tournament's which these days, but
Yep.
yeah, it's yeah, it was a shame. I think this was probably one of the most competitive like qualifiers I think
Yeah, NA
for a
teams are getting a lot
long
better.
time. I think NA teams are getting better, but I also think the gap between like the top and the bottom is getting way, way,
Yeah,
way
it's
closer.
also the game. The game also
Yeah,
like
evens things out a
in Mark
bit.
12, like yeah,
Yeah, you
Mark
lose a
12.
pistol or two, and
You
all
lose
of
a
a sudden.
pistol. Yep, lose a little shitty round, get ecoed, and then it's a really hard game.
Did you see our game against the Mongols in Melbourne? I mean, maybe you didn't because the time zone was terrible, but actually, no, the time zone was pretty good for NA for
I
that game.
think I'm pretty sure I did.
We lost five pistols. We lost all four pistols of the first two maps, and we probably should
Yep,
have won both maps in the end.
the
It
game
was
is really hard.
it was a diabolical game of Counter
Yep.
Strike.
You
Like we
lose
think,
both pistols, that's just like 6 free rounds for them, and it's just you have to play like
yeah,
a perfect game from there on out.
yeah. We
Especially
went
against
we
the Mongols, like a really good team.
we went down 8-4, and then we were down 11-5, and then we won that game 13-11, the first
Yes,
map.
I did watch that actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
second map we were down 11-2, and then we brought it back to OT, and then lost in OT. We lost both pistols in that one as well.
was
Then
that
then
on
we
Ancient?
that was on ancient,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, okay.
And then we lost the pistol on the start of the third map. Managed to lose the half 7-5, and then we were up 10-8, and then we lost 13-10. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was that was rough. But lose if we just won like one extra pistol at some point,
Yep,
like we may have been
that's what you
okay.
always
So
think. Yep,
yeah, Counter Strike
you
is
win a pistol,
crazy.
but then for like Vitality, for example, you win the pistol against them, then they just EQ you right
They,
back,
yeah,
and your
they just
half's
break
even
you.
harder.
Yeah, I actually think our breaking statistics have been really good in like the last like month or two. Like since like Bucharest and Melbourne and like the Yala Compass qualifiers and stuff like that. I think we've been pretty good on like winning like the round two.
Yeah, you got Halzerk Scout and Grim,
Yeah, Holzak
your
Scout.
Grim,
Yeah,
your Grim pistol.
how's your scout, Peyton? I haven't been looking.
I, I have been working on it. I've been working on it.
You've been working on it. Okay, well, hopefully on land it's easier, right? So
On the land, the game is a lot easier.
yeah. Actually, tell you what, our round two conversion is 91%. It's actually the second best behind Spirit.
No ecos, nice.
Yeah, we're
Well,
not getting.
you
We're not
got
getting.
Mike and Danny to get all the eco frags.
Ah, yeah. I mean, I have to hold them back, man. I have to put them on a leash. It's like a fight between the
There's no
two of
leash
them.
for Mike.
Yeah,
Mike goes.
we're actually the against top 20 teams in the last 3 months. We're actually the second best team at breaking teams on round two. So I mean that includes like
JTIGL.
online stuff as well. Yeah, JT's big brain, man. You're gonna enjoy playing under JT. I think he's developed
Oh
a
yeah,
lot.
I mean, I played
He's
on him.
learned a
He's
lot.
one of the. He's a god.
Ah, he's
He's
better
like,
now though.
oh, I
Oh
can
yeah.
imagine.
Oh yeah. Anyway, Payne, I don't want to keep you for too long, brother, because I know you're busy. Very much appreciate you
I
hopping
need
on
one of
for
those
this.
shirts you're wearing right there. I need
You need
that.
one of these shirts. I
I need
believe.
that.
Okay, I'm going to do the plug now. Shop.col.gg. I'm pretty sure. Michael Grimm Wintz is marketing this T-shirt. It's $27. I have no idea if that includes sales tax or not because US sales tax confuses the hell out of me. But it says it's $27. USAT. You can also get the one that just has the red and yeah, that's also $27 as well. There's also a QR code somewhere up this way. I think it is this way somewhere. It's above your head actually. I think where you can go to the shop as well. But we'll try and sort you out with some merch, obviously for
$27
the.
in today's
I don't
Okay, that's
I
a
just
steal.
work it, Peyton. I just work it. I don't set the prices.
That's a steal. Hashtag ad. Hashtag sell out.
Hashtag ad. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get you some merch when you arrive in Austin and a nice fancy jersey. Oh, look, Andrew's here. Look, he's popped it up on the stream for us. Look at that. There you go. It's $26.99. What?
Damn.
Oh, he's even made it flash. Look at that, man. Production value on this is insane.
Stuff they do for you, Graham.
Yeah, Peyton, feel free to hop out anytime. Say goodbye. I know you're busy. You got some stuff that you gotta. It's tough, Peyton, because I want you to win because I like you as a person, but I'd really like to start practice a day earlier. So like I'm torn between like wanting you to win ECL and wanting you to lose.
When does I mean, NA practice is pretty rough, so like it's gotta hope for the Dallas teams to get here
Yeah, I mean the
so
first
you
the
can
first
get
few
real practice.
weeks. I mean,
May
most of
19th.
there's some pretty good teams here. I know MAT are in Europe right now. They're going to Astana, so they're not they're not going to be here. But I think everyone else is here actually now. I think like Energy are here. I think Wildcard might be here. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
I
they
saw
are.
they flew back recently. Obviously, we can't practice against now. Well, I don't know. Maybe we can. I don't know if they've got a sub for you for that period. But getting info, I think, are still scrimming. Like there should be a few teams still scrimming at least for like a week or so, and then yeah, and then hopefully the Dallas teams will all arrive, and then there's a lot of teams staying from the end of Dallas until the major.
Oh, really? Oh.
Yeah, I think there's at least like I think there's two or three like stage 2, 3 teams. I won't name them just in case I don't know like put them in the shit or like give away their plans. But we are aware there's at least a few teams that are staying between the end of Dallas and the major from the stage 2 and 3 teams, and I think there's also like a few stage 1 teams. So there should be some pretty good scrim partners for that week, plus the Dallas week as well. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
And
Good for now.
let's be honest, Paige, it's going to take us a few days to get into the swing of things, so we don't need the best opponents for the first few days, you know. So when you're still trying to remember what strat is and what nade you're throwing, it doesn't matter who the opponent is at that point.
I'm an opper. I throw the same nades every round.
Yeah, I mean
It's a lot easier to
that's
spot
actually
than
what
an
Hawkins,
opper
that's
than a
actually what
rifler.
Hawkins says. Yeah.
Especially JT flashbangs. Those are really easy.
JT flashbangs are insane. Massively underrated flasher.
Absolutely.
That makes him sound like he goes like into parks and like with a jacket or something. But
The fake Halzerks here.
no, I think that's actually real
No,
Holzek.
that's the fake one.
Is that the fake one?
Yep.
Are you sure?
Positive.
I'm gonna put it up on the stream anyway because oh yeah, I mean that's not his profile picture. So yeah, that's fake Holzek. But anyway, Peyton, if we keep talking, you're never gonna leave, brother. So
We can
it's
talk
good.
for days.
It's been good to catch up with you. We'll catch up in a few days when you're done with your ECL commitments, and we'll vibe a bit during prac and stuff. And yeah, I've got to announce who the coach is.
Oh, who could that be? Oh,
Oh, who could it be? I
All
mean,
right, Graham, appreciate it.
I actually think that is a bit confusing for some people, but obviously you know who it is. So
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, Peyton.
See you later, Graham.
Yeah, you run along now. I think you can just close it and it'll all
I'll
sort
hit
itself
the
out
X
for
and
me.
I'm good.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay. Thanks for
I've
having
never
me,
done
Graham.
this before. This is my first time. Thanks for coming on, Peyton. Bye bye. Sweet. So yeah, Junior will be joining us. Yeah, essentially from I think officially the 8th or the 9th, so like either tomorrow or the day after is the earliest point that he'll join us. As I said, he's got to finish out his not obligations to Nouns, but he intends to play with the Nouns squad going into next season, or the ex Nouns squad, the Moneyball team. So obviously they want to do as well as possible in ECL, try and qualify for EPL, and we respect that. So we're giving him a few more days to get through that, but we're still working on prep and theory, and hopefully we'll be ready to go once they get eliminated or win, depending on how it goes. So yeah, that brings us to the coach, and I think the coach is a name that. So let me just update everyone on the coach situation as well, because obviously we released TC in start of March, so like 2 months ago now, with the intention of hiring a new coach. That process began, and we started with some interviews going through March, and then things got a bit hectic when we played the Bucharest qualifiers. We qualified for Bucharest. We then had to make a decision between the Astana qualifiers in NA and the Yellow Compass qualifiers in EU, and whether we thought we could reasonably get to the major by going to Yellow Compass. And then we did go to Yellow Compass, and then we added a boot camp in front of Yellow Compass, and then we went to Bucharest, and then we went straight to Melbourne, basically, because we got the Melbourne invite in the middle of Bucharest. So things got a bit hectic for like a month. Like the whole of April was basically a wash, and not much got done on the coaching hiring process. So I ended up coaching for the team during Bucharest and Melbourne. I mean, I'm going to say coaching in a light term because I'm not a coach. I stood behind the team and I called a timeout here and there and said some nice words and motivated the team. Basically, like I wasn't coaching, but I was the coach. So yeah, things got a bit hectic with all that. And then when we came back from Melbourne, we had, I think, 8 or 9 days between the end of Melbourne and the registration for the coach for the major, which was 2 days ago, which I think has been pretty publicized now because we made some we had some issues with the registration, which I can go through at the end. And to be completely honest with you, with that time frame, I did not feel comfortable finishing all the interviews and doing the due diligence and getting JT fully involved and the team involved with who we were going to hire and go through that whole process and making a full-time hire with that time frame. So made the decision that we were going to look to hire a temporary coach for the major. So we're going to have a coach that joins us, I think officially starts today or tomorrow. Can't remember which date we put in the contract, but officially starts today or tomorrow, and they will be coaching with us through the major, and that's it. This person is someone who is on the short list of coaches that we've been interviewing. So it is someone who potentially could be a full-time hire, but there's still other coaches in the process as well. So this isn't like this is the guy who we think we're going to hire, but there's still still an ongoing process. But it's someone that we feel very comfortable working with on a short-term basis, who we think can give us elevate us in the next month as best they can. And obviously the hiring process is still going on in the background. So he's not coming on as a guest because I didn't ask him to. Not because I didn't want him to, but just because I didn't think having multiple guests and trying to time it all out, I didn't want to waste anyone's time today. The coach joining us for the Blast Austin Major will be Adrian, formerly of Team Liquid, formerly of Nouns. So obviously, Junior has been working with him for the past I don't know how long they've been working together, but yeah, Adrian will be joining us. Another US citizen, so we're going sort of all in on Team USA, you could say. One sec, I need to cough. Sorry guys, I've been a bit sick the past few days. I think I also broke my toe this morning, which is unfortunate. But yeah, we'll have Adrian coaching us for the next month and a bit. For people who don't know who Adrian is, you need to get out from under a rock. I think he must be the most accomplished coach in North American history. He obviously worked with Team Liquid extensively, won the Grand Slam with Team Liquid. So yeah, very, very experienced coach, and we're extremely excited to have him with us for the next month or so. And yeah, it's going to be a fun one. I think looking forward to representing. I say this as a British person, but I feel very strongly about this. Looking forward to representing USA on home soil. US coach, 4 US players. We can just pretend that JT is from North America. We'll dress him up like he's a true-blooded American, and we'll be the most USA represented team at the major, which I think is pretty cool to have. And we still aim to be competitive. I think we've put together a roster that we feel can be competitive. To be completely transparent with you, we considered non-US players and coaches as well. But, we thought that this was the best combination that allowed us to get the best and most practice, and also sort of, branding wise, I think it really works with us that we want to be, we want to be representing USA, especially at this event. And, if we can't represent USA with our full roster, we will have a US based roster as well. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one. We've got a month basically to prepare. So, we've got the time. We just need to go through the motions and make sure we're putting in the work. And yeah, I'm pretty sure we will be competitive. Whether we can be as competitive as we would be with our full roster, I don't know. Crazy things happen when you add subs. I remember when we had Sonic back in, what, 2023 for essentially the same events. Actually, it was, it was kind of the June events, Dallas and the Blast finals in June, that we had Sonic replace Halzek for actually the exact same reason that we're having it this time. That was just his first visa, which again was approved and accepted. We were just waiting for this one piece of documentation to come through. So yeah, when you have a sub, I think sometimes the lack of pressure and things like that can enable you to sort of push yourselves to a better place. So looking forward to attending the Blast Austin Major, and yeah, we'll give it everything we've got, and hopefully hopefully we'll be very competitive. And yeah, I'd like to, I said last week that I think we should be making it through stage one pretty well, and stage two will get a lot tougher when you start adding teams like Falcons and FaZe and things like that. But I don't think that, especially some of those matches will be best of ones. Anyone can win in a best of one. So I'm excited. I'm looking forward to coming to the US again. I actually thought for a while we wouldn't be having any events in the US when we missed out on Dallas, but then obviously I forgot about Austin. So yeah, this will be the only event we have in the US all year. So looking forward to coming back and seeing all the guys at the HQ. I don't regularly travel over to the HQ unless there's an event. So I haven't seen the guys from our HQ since Dallas last year. So that'll be fun to sort of see the people who I actually work with on a daily basis. So that's nice for me to have. And yeah, Blast Austin Major, roster confirmed. Adding Junior as our sub and Adrian as our coach. There you go. And yeah, as I said, the coaching hiring process is still ongoing. I still have to reach out to a few more coaches. I think I've left in the dark about that, so that's on me. I fucked up if that's my case, but I think there's just still a few coaches that need to be informed that there still is a job and they're still in the running for it. But things have been quite hectic recently. I guess we can just quickly since it came up and it got named in public. There was, how do I share this one? Yeah. Oh, where's that gone? Hello. There we go. Yeah, so there was this, which was caused by me, as I think they said in the article, because, yeah, qualified teams have been given 4 extra days to finalize their submissions. And, yeah, they mentioned it here. So the rule, and I don't disagree with what Blast were thinking, because the rule says or. Like, very clearly it says or substitute player. So just for complete transparency, we registered Darty Montana as our substitute player for the MRQ. Typically, we wouldn't register a substitute player, but because we were flying from Bucharest on the Monday and the MRQ started on the Tuesday, if a single player had even one flight delay or missed a connection, they most likely would have missed the match, because we played the very first match. I think it was 11 a.m. I think Central Time, the day after we traveled. So it was more of a precaution of hey, if somebody misses a flight and they can't get the very first flight out and they can't get home in time to play the match, then we needed a sub, so we registered a sub. And you could also register a coach. So I registered myself as the coach, because I even said to the guys, I was like, why register a coach? Because they weren't allowed in the TeamSpeak during the match, and they weren't allowed to have any communication with the players during the match. I was like, well, then the coach is pointless, so why register a coach? But I registered myself as the coach anyway. And then, yeah, we switched them out for Junior and Adrian. At that point, we were informed that it was one or the other. And I was like, that isn't how the rule has been applied in the past. Now, I don't disagree that the word or here is the word or. So it's a coach or a substitute player. I don't disagree with how Blast interpreted it. I disagreed with the fact that in the past it has been applied differently. So I asked them to clarify it with Valve. Valve agreed that my interpretation or my thought process about how the rule had been applied in the past was what they wanted to apply this time around. So they agreed. They let us change both players or both positions, so we could add a sub and a coach or change them both. And then they gave the teams an extension so that they could also change the other player or other coach if they wanted to, because they weren't aware of the fact they could have done if they interpreted the rule as or. So yeah, that's where the confusion came from, which led to a very stressful 25 hours of me waiting for Valve to confirm which way it was going to be. And obviously, if they had ruled that it wasn't or, then Junior would have been registered as our sub, because he's essentially essential to us because of Horzerg's visa. And then I would have ended up having to stand behind the players again during the major. Adrian would have been the interim head coach still, and he would have been the coach in the build-up, but he wouldn't have been able to stand behind the players. So yeah, very glad, very glad that Valve agreed with me. I hope they changed the wording on the rule, because this isn't a blast rule. This is actually from the Valve major rules, I think, which is why I questioned it, because I've seen it before. Let me find the rule. I'm pretty sure it's here somewhere. Yeah, it's not listed as Rule 3.2, but it is here. A team cannot adjust their core lineup between the MRQ and the major. However, they can register a different coach or substitute player. In the past, this was the closed qualifier and the RMR, because for Shanghai, at least, which was the previous major, the RMR and the major was so close together that they weren't allowing changes between the RMR and the major, because they were both played on. They were considered the same event, essentially. Like, everyone traveled to China, and then Perfect World were expecting teams to stay between their RMR and the major. Some teams chose to go home, some teams chose to stay, some teams chose to do something in the middle. But they consider the RMR and the major the same event. So this initially, last time, said closed qualifier and RMR. And it was the same rule. They didn't change the and or the or, but when I clarified, at least with Perfect World beforehand, and I think even it might have even been present for the PGL Copenhagen major, both times, certainly for the Shanghai major, this was applied as you could do both changes, which is why I raised the question. It's also why I believed I could make both changes. So yeah, a little bit of background context as to why this happened. So yeah, I don't blame Blast. It's not their fault. Like, they read the rule as the rule is written, and that makes sense. But yeah, thankfully, Valve, well, not stepped in because they were asked to clarify, but thankfully Valve clarified in my favor, I guess. And I don't have to stand behind the players at the major, which is a big relief off my shoulders because I really didn't want to do that. So yeah, a little bit of background on that. Wow, already 35 minutes in. This is this could either be another like 1 hour on the dot, or it could be another 2 hour stream, depending on where we go with this. So I think, given the fact that my throat is a little bit scuffed at the moment, I'm gonna try and keep it to the 1 hour. So 25 minutes. We'll probably add a bit of a Q&A at the end. So we've got about 10 minutes. And I've got one thing I actually do want to talk about, because it's something that came up recently and something that I personally feel very strongly about. And I mean, probably my players don't feel so strongly about, so they're probably not going to like what I am about to say necessarily, but they're also very aware of my thoughts on this already, so it's not going to be anything new to them. Okay, can't translate it super easy, but I'll try and make it easy for you. Did that share? Hello. Okay, well, I don't know if I'm still here, but my Chrome says it's not responding, so I'm just gonna give it time to try and respond. I think I'm still here. I can see myself moving on the webcam at least, so and things are still ticking up and down, but my Chrome says it's not responding, so I'm just gonna wait a minute and see if it comes back because I don't want to crash the stream. Let's see what happens. Does anyone know if I'm still here? Can you write in chat if you can still hear me? If you can't, I'll just restart. Okay, I am here still. Maybe I have to crash my Chrome. Let's see. Let's see. Andrew's not here anymore, is he? No. Okay, I'm gonna crash my Chrome and reload it and come straight back and see what happens. I think it'll work because I'm not on OBS. I'm on a website, so. I'll be back. Did that just work? Did I come back straight back like nothing happened basically there? Cool, right. Let's try that again. I like the fact that the stream stays up even though I crashed. Here we go. So, it's in Danish, but we can translate. This was a post made by dust2.dk, who I don't have any affiliation with. They're obviously owned by HLTV. Yeah, basically, they tried to get interviews with players from both Mals and Falcons after the game, but it was unfortunately rejected this time. So that's both teams rejecting interviews after their semi-final. Yeah, so they're going to the final over Mals. So if this is the semi-final, and this is something that's been an issue from other people as well. And again, I've praised what the interview here is, but then Prof from HLTV has mentioned that it's been quite tough for them to get. Whoa, let's go the other way around. For them to get interviews denied as well, and I know that I think it was Note was at Shanghai, and he was having issues as well in Shanghai, and then also again this was from Blast Rivals, Play.gg having issues with getting interviews as well, and like I mean, I just think this is really really shitty from a lot of teams. I just want to clarify, like, I'm not calling out like Vitality Spirit here, or there was no team involved in the Prof 1 or Mals or Falcons. I think sometimes there are genuinely reasons why teams have rejected interviews, but it's something that I've heard said by a lot of journalists a lot more recently, I think, than before. That it's actually becoming extremely hard to get interviews with players or coaches after the matches. And I should say that like interviews with external media, so third party press, so anyone that isn't the tournament organizer, are optional. They are optional, and they're not mandatory. But I just think that there's a certain level of obligation from the players and the organization's perspective, and I know sometimes it is the players who reject the interviews, and sometimes it is the organization that rejects the interviews. Sometimes the organization says you can't ask questions about certain things, that makes sense in some cases. A good example for us, when we were playing at IEM Sydney, that was when the news dropped that our parent company, GameSquare at the time, was looking to purchase FaZe Clan. And not only were we still in the tournament with FaZe Clan on the other side of the bracket, obviously we ended up facing FaZe Clan in the final. So, I was pretty open and just said, like, hey, like, the players have no idea what's going on with this deal. Like, it's nothing to do with them. They're not able to speak on behalf of the company. Like, we will not answer questions about this because we're just physically not capable of doing that. But you can have anyone else for an interview and they'll answer all the questions, no problem. But we can't answer questions about this, so just don't bother trying. And I think that's fair. And I think that organizations can do that when there's something that is so glaringly obviously going to happen. I know G2, I think, did it recently with the Monazi thing during Bucharest. Maybe not quite as justifiable, but yeah, still somewhat I understand why. And I think that's fine. But I think just completely like having nobody available for interview, even if it's just like 5 minutes, is just like the way you can sort of envision it is people aren't going to be invested into this game if there is no media involvement, right? Like if HLTV, as an example, stop getting interviews of all the players, they'll stop sending people to interview all the players. And then people will ask, well, we don't know anything about these players because they never do interviews because there's nobody to interview them. Like that we're going to get to a point where it's going to not be worth sending anyone to an event from external media like Play.gg or Dust2DK or HLTV or any one of these places. Those are just the three that were in this example because they were more recent. You're going to get to a point where it's not going to be worth them sending anyone to the event because the value they're going to get if they're going to keep getting rejected from interviews is going to be so low that it's not going to be a justifiable business case for them to send anyone. The same thing could be said about photographers. If you can't get content because your photographer isn't allowed to take pictures of the players while they're playing, then you're not going to send a photographer. And we have the same issues as a team where sometimes we are allowed to film the players while they're playing. Sometimes we're not allowed to film the players while they're playing. Sometimes we have no access to the playing booth at all, pre-game, post-game, anything. And as soon as that kind of thing happens, then we're in a position where there's no point in having someone there to make content, to create content, if they can't make content. And then you just say, well, there's no point in making content or there's no point risking it, sending someone, or sometimes you find out the media rules a week before the event, but we don't book travel a week before the event, right? So I think it's just a really slippery slope on like a bunch of facets of this whole not doing interviews, not allowing media, not allowing team content to be created, where at some point people are just going to say, okay, well, we're not going to pay for it then. We're not going to send people to do this stuff. We're not going to create the content. And then we're all going to sit there and say well, why does no one watch our game? Why is nobody interested? It's well, because we're in this cyclical position where we're constantly, sort of alienating the people who are elevating the game, essentially. The ecosystem is not going to survive on just people watching the stream and watching the Counter-Strike. There has to be, other pillars that are holding the game up, and external media is one, team content creation is another. So yeah, that's just a little rant on my side about rejecting interviews. And for the record, I think there's been one time in 3.5 years where we have rejected every interview that was requested of us. And I think I remember the game. I'm not going to mention the game. But I think I remember the game it was. And it was a game where we, as a team, felt an incorrect decision had been made from the admin team of the event that had cost us very significantly within the match. And I didn't feel like any of the players was in a position where emotionally they should be giving an interview at that point. And I didn't feel like I should be giving an interview at that point because I was very upset about it as well. So I rejected, I think, 2 interviews that day after that single match. I think that's the only time in 3.5 years that we've ever rejected interviews. We've asked publications to change to different players because, as an example, when last year when we had a Liege, you'd get like a list of requested interviews after a match that would be curated for us by like, ESL's PR department or something. They'd say, hey, we've got like this publication, this publication, this publication, this publication. They want to do a video interview with a Liege. They want to do a text interview with the Liege. They want to do a text interview with the Liege. They want to do a video interview with the Liege. And I'm just like, hey, like, you guys can have someone, but you can't all have a Liege. Like, that was the kind of issue we were having back then. So, you can have anyone else, just someone has to not have a Liege. And we will always try and meet every external media for something. And I've always said, like, if I can't give you a player or a player is busy, you can have the coach. And if you can't have the coach, you can have me. And if you can't, well, you can always have me. So worst case, you can have me. And if I'm not interesting to you, then that's unfortunate for you. But we will always offer someone up. And I think for the most part, that's been going pretty well. We haven't had any complaints, at least. But yeah, it's just something that I feel very strongly about. And having seen, like, especially at this Rivals event, 2 instances of it happening in 2 separate matches with essentially 4 separate orgs, so 20 different players, it's a little bit frustrating for me because I do think it benefits the ecosystem. I think the only real argument I can think of as to why there maybe isn't value in it is, I mean, I know American sports, they play like 3 times a week sometimes, so maybe that doesn't happen as much, but certainly, obviously in esports, if you do an interview with a complexity player after the group stage, and you do one, or do one after the first match in the group stage and the second match in the group stage, maybe there's a third match in the group stage, and then you do the quarterfinals and the semifinals and the finals. All of a sudden, you've got 6 opportunities to interview 5 players. Let's say 2 or 3 players get picked per opportunity. Yeah, I can understand that there might be a slight saturation, but at the same time, I think that I don't think we're at that point yet where we're really going to recognize that. So, and also a lot of this, a lot of the media we do is sometimes like translated into foreign languages. So, if we do an interview with the Studio DK, sometimes that'll end up in Danish on their website rather than in English. So it kind of focuses on a different segment of the market as well. So I don't think we're quite at that place. I do recognize that some of the teams, like Mao's, Falcons, Vitality, Spirit, the ones who are going super deep in these tournaments, they may have that issue more than others. But I still don't think we're at like a crux where it's that important to skip interviews or to provide no one for an interview every single time. So yeah, we'll see. But I'd be curious to see how this evolves. I would love if, I mean, I know I know that journalists, it's great for me to say it because it's not me risking it, but I would be curious to see like what would happen if like every journalistic outlet or media came out and said like, hey, we requested an interview with these guys and they rejected every single time they rejected. Because I don't know whether the fans would turn on the players or whether the teams would just say, hey, if you're going to out us, then we're just never going to do an interview with you again, which is probably what would happen, and that would suck. But yeah, I'd be curious to see who would win that battle in the end. But obviously, it's easy for me to say because I don't have any skin in the game on that one, so I'm not risking anything. So that's up to HLTV to try. I dare you. All right, we're down to 10 minutes. I'm losing my voice a little bit here, so we are open for the AMA. Feel free to jump in and start asking questions because I want to try and keep this a little bit short and sweet. Okay, Slove. Okay, I know since I've been having this conversation with Soren earlier today. Yes, they did. They reversed it pretty much as soon as we had to get the exception for the previous revival series. They ran it back. Yeah, I can't remember which update they did, but it was one of them where they ran that back. So it might have even been the most recent one, but yeah. I'm going to try and find it and see if I can show everyone what that was. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I don't even remember where it is, but yeah, they have indeed rolled it back. So the revival series is hopefully gonna continue with a nice format. We ran into some issues where Valve changed the invitation requirements for tier 2 events to a point that would have made the revival series quite awkward. I guess awkward is awkward the right word? Awkward is the word I'm going with. I feel like awkward is the right word to run. So glad that we were able to. Well, I mean, we didn't even petition for it. It just got changed back at some point. It was 3.8.5. When did they change that back? I'm going to try and find it because it's annoying me now. I don't remember when they changed it back. But just to explain to everyone, I'll just share the screen. So this is the update they did. This went through on the 19th of February, where they added this here. Must extend to at least 8. So typically the revival series had 8 teams in it in the main event. This meant that we would have had to invite eight teams to the event, which then meant that the open qualifiers wouldn't have existed, or we would have had to have an elongated format. Slove can go through that if he wants to, but yeah, essentially this caused us a lot of trouble. I think we got an exception for the which event was it that we got the exception for? The first 2 events, right? So the one we just had and the one coming up. And then now I don't know when they changed it. But they have changed it back. They've definitely changed it back because the current one is changed back. I mean, okay, maybe it's here. Maybe it's this bit here. They just removed it, seemingly. But this isn't the current rule. But anyway, the current rule is now here, which just says for tier 2 tournaments, you only have to invite 4 teams now. So that hopefully helps us do the revival series in a more easier way, I guess. So yeah, little update on the revival series. I'm not involved in the revival series, but obviously I read the rules a lot, so I get asked things. Yatos, was there a potential another AWPer subbing in, or was it cut and dry at Junior? We looked at a lot of different options. We looked at a lot of European options, and no, there wasn't any South American options. Just there wasn't. We looked at a lot of European options, and through a number of reasons, either player availability, financial is one reason. We looked at a lot of players who were benched. We looked at players who were on teams that didn't qualify to the major, some very high profile teams that didn't qualify to the major that had AWPs that we would like to play with, whether they'd be willing to part ways with their AWP essentially for the end of the season. Unfortunately, some of them had events leading up to the major, but weren't at the major, so they wouldn't have been able to practice with us for like the next 2 or 3 weeks, which would have been problematic. And ultimately, when we got down to it, given Junior's availability, given he knows the team very well, he fits in really good. There was not really many downsides to it, and comparatively to the players that we had available from. Sorry, I need to cough again. Yeah, my throat's going pretty quickly, so I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon. Comparatively to the players that we had available in Europe, the upsides really for the European players weren't that great. Again, financial, whether teams were willing to let their players go for the finances we had available, which we do have finances available for this. Certainly, I'd say pretty good finances for what is essentially a month loan. We were quoted some pretty crazy prices, so yeah, we looked into it, and ultimately, with the players who were actually on the market and who were available, who could attend, another thing, visas. Lots of these young Russian players, with the timeline that we had to get the player from the point we qualified from the MRQ until the deadline, the likelihood of us getting visas for some of these players was basically zero. And we obviously, if we've already got the main player who has a visa trouble, registering a player who doesn't have a visa is dumb. It's just dumb. So, yeah, we obviously needed a guaranteed player who 100% could enter the country, everything else. So, yeah, we went with Peyton, and we're very happy with that. So, any more questions? Da, 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 da. You asked for simple. I'm gonna be honest. I did not ask for simple. I didn't even go there because I just assumed I wouldn't have the money. We didn't ask simple, but also, I don't know how much simple's really been playing. I mean, I wish them all the best with FaZe. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, we didn't ask for simple. I will admit that we didn't go quite that high on the cost evaluation. Brokey is free. No, he's not. He's registered on FaZe's roster as their fifth player. Any player that's on a core roster, so the initial registration that was done on April the 11th, is still tied to their roster, so they're not available as a player that can sub in. Interestingly, if you remember, the Munazi deal was done, I think, on like the 8th of April, so during Bucharest. I think that was rushed through specifically so that they could make it ahead of the April 11th deadline. So Munazi should be with Falcons and should have Falcon stickers. And I guess Hades was registered for G2. So yeah. Oh, I see some of you guys already answered that in the chat anyway. Let's have a look. Any more questions? I think I've gone through all the questions. Floofies. OG Wizard could have been interesting to see. I agree. He could have been interesting to see. I personally don't know enough about him to want to risk it all and play the major with him. I think he's pretty well regarded as an up-and-coming player within North America, but obviously we have history with Junior, and we know what we're going to get with him, and we know what we can get out of him. I personally think that Junior has improved significantly since his last time with us. I think he's developed a lot. Since then, I think he's gained a lot more confidence in himself and his game, and yeah, I'm looking forward to playing with him again. Or I'm not going to play with him, hopefully, but I'm looking forward to him playing for us again. He's a really nice guy to have around, and yeah, I think he can do a good job for us on the server this next month. How do visas work for NA players? Bandicat, you're going to have to elaborate on that a bit more. Unless you're talking about NA players going to Europe, in which case for NA players going to Europe, they don't require a visa. Well, NA is a broad word. For US and Canadians, they don't require a visa to go to Europe. They can just go to Europe for up to 90 days. And they can stay there for up to 90 days per 180 days. it's a bit different going the other way. The US is more restrictive on visas. Most European countries can get a what's called an ESTA, an electronic visa waiver, essentially, that waives them having what would normally be a B1 visa for business. In our case, that doesn't work because our players and staff and everything else are employed by a US company. We are a US company. All of our players would have to be on P1 visas, which is why Horzuk is getting a P1 visa rather than an ESTA. So, yeah. Arata 2000, you didn't ask for Simple, but did you ask for Dexter? We inquired with Dexter about his visa status because he's a Russian and he would require a visa. And this potentially is the reason why Falcons were so desperate to get Monazi before the major. Dexter didn't have a visa at the time we asked, which was post Bucharest. So, yeah, again, in the timing we had leading up to from qualifying until the deadline 2 days ago, the chances of him getting a visa were probably quite slim, which is probably why G2 also didn't get him in a trade deal with Falcons, would be my guess. And maybe why Falcons were so desperate to get Monazi before the major. Just speculating here. But the fact that our understanding is he doesn't have a visa is probably the reason why. Did the visa rules get more difficult to navigate this year? The visa rules, no. My understanding is the visa rules haven't changed at all, at least not in a meaningful way for us. What has changed is enforcement on the border at the immigration has gotten a lot more strict and a lot tougher, and they're drilling people a lot more with questions about why they're coming, where they're staying, why are they here, what are you doing, all that kind of stuff. They're getting a lot more strict with stuff like that. So and it should be clarified that even if you have a visa, even if you have all the legal means of entry, if you fail that one-on-one interview with the Customs and Border Patrol officer, CBP, I think they're called, you can still just be rejected from entering the country. So even if you have everything in order, you could still just meet the wrong person and they can just reject you on entry. So, yeah, I think that's where things have got a bit more tough. I think some facets of getting a US visa have gotten worse. I think waiting times have gotten worse because I think from memory, they've changed the process for certain visas and certainly for certain visas from applicants from certain countries who used to not be required to go to an interview to get a visa are now required to get an interview. And the sudden increase of applicants who now have to get interviews, that going up so high has led to longer wait times to do the interviews, which has led to longer wait times to get people visas. But I don't think the rules themselves necessarily for the majority of people have gotten any worse. I think it's more just sort of a general creep in everything. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions. I haven't seen any more questions come through, and we're just over an hour now, and my throat is beginning to go. My Strepsils packet is empty, so I'm gonna go and rest up a bit and try and maintain my throat for tomorrow. I don't really have anything to do tomorrow that requires it, so I should be fine to just chill. But I'm gonna try and rest up anyway and get better, so I can be more efficient in everything. I'm hoping to have some late nights later this week because we're gonna hopefully start practice in the next day or two. So I'd like to be up for the first few days of that and see how things are going. But yeah, happy to have you guys all with me for today. It's been a fun one. Obviously, the announcements and a few little rants and raves and everything else thrown in between. looking forward to the next month or so with Junior and Adrian joining us in the meantime. And yeah, as always, I don't think. Oh yeah, look, it's right there. It's actually there right now. I was going to talk about it. Join the Discord. Join the Complexity Discord. I believe it's discord.gg/complexity, or you can scan that QR code. Like I'm in the Counter-Strike channel 24/7 pretty much. So if you have any questions or you missed anything or you want to interact with me or the rest of the fans, feel free to head over there. It's a really cool place to be. Sometimes Katie does trivia nights, which are fun, especially when they're Counter-Strike related, because I'm really good at them. So I like that. But yeah, head over to the Discord. It's a really fun place to be. Lots of cool people who are talking complexity, and yeah, like I don't want to say I pride myself on it, but like I'm really active in that Discord. I like to be part of the community. I like to see what you guys are talking about. I like to be involved. So yeah, if you want more fun insights in a slightly, I mean, it really can't get much less formal than this, but even less formal than this, then feel free to head over there. Otherwise, cole.shop.gg, you know where it is. Oh, there you go. Look at that. It just changed. Head over there. You can get yourself a nice USA, because we are representing USA at the Austin Major. Or you can also get the one that just has red. It's up to you. The red one, by the way, is the one that will be the sticker. My understanding from what Jason and Kyle told me, what we submitted for the sticker will just be the red one with the text. So you can get essentially what is going to be on the sticker as a big logo right across your chest. So yeah, you can grab that, and yeah, we'll see you guys next week. I don't think there's anything stopping me doing this next week. No, it looks like we're pretty good. I think the next 3 weeks are all going to be from home. And then we'll be doing one live from Austin on the 4th of June. So yeah, the next 3 weeks we'll be doing from here, and then on the 4th of June we'll be doing one live from some form of Austin hotel room, practice room, something like that. Maybe we'll adjust the timing. Might adjust the timing of that one, since I'll be on the US time zone. Maybe do it slightly later so people can catch it after work. I don't really know. Andrew, we need to look through the stats and see if we get like a majority North American or European audience, and see if that's worthwhile, because I don't know. I'd assume we have a mostly North American audience for this, so we can try and push the stream back a little bit. We can have a look at that. But yeah, so next 3 weeks, normal time. Maybe the first week of June, we'll change it. And before I go, since we can, just want to shout out to the boys, 14th in the world on VRS. Really proud of those guys for all the work they've done. Without a coach for the last 2 months. Been working their asses off to get us back up sort of where we want to be and where we want to be competing, and yeah, putting up some good numbers against some of the top teams in the world. So yeah, hoping we can use this as a springboard to bigger and better things. I know we had a rough start to the year, but they've really put in the effort and turned things around. So yeah, 14th in the world is a nice place to be, considering where we were a few months ago. And yeah, all credit goes to these 5 guys. Really, they've been doing all the work. So shout out and lots of love to these guys. And yeah, hopefully we can keep representing you guys, North American fans, USA fans, whatever you want to be, moving forward. And yeah, we will see you guys next week. Thanks for your time. I'm going to play the outro, Andrew. I hope you've got the rest. Sorry, Andrew's the guy, no, he's not in my ear, but he's the guy sort of helping me with some of the production things. So if you're wondering, I'm not like talking to like my other alter ego or something. Yeah, thanks guys.